Hey, good morning, everyone. I wanted to just do a quick entry this morning on yesterday and how God moved in service yesterday. An amazing service um, at Pastor Roberto's church. We had a great time. The worship was fantastic. They had some teenagers leading in worship, and it was off the charts. It was so good. It was neat because they actually did, excuse me, open the eyes of my heart, and they sang it in English, uh, and so that was really neat. So I was able to connect with that, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. The ministry time was, or the preaching time. It was kind of weird because I had a message on temptation, and I really felt strongly that my goal there was to encourage the church to go out and do the work of the ministry. Little did I know that my message on temptation was that word. And I had no idea because it was kind of weird. I was like, why am I preaching this message to this group? And it was just neat how God had really used that. God had gotten to the people, and basically I heard a couple times that they were discouraged because they would fall into temptation, and then they felt like they couldn't share about who God was, or they couldn't do works of the ministry because they were ashamed that they had fallen into temptation. So I gave them some keys to get out of temptation, to not fall into temptation, to protect themselves. So we had, I'm going to say the entire church. There was a couple that didn't come forward, but the entire church came forward for prayer and encouragement. We had this really neat situation. A young girl, I think her name was Ayana or Aya, came forward, and we prayed for her and just felt an activation happen with her when we prayed for her and some other, and she's a teenager. And we had as I was praying, I had an elderly woman that came and said she had a lot of discomfort, stomach discomfort. Again, that's something that's very common because there are some serious hygiene issues. There's some issues with the water and stuff here in Santo Domingo, and so it's very common to have stomach issues and stomach problems, and but she was complaining of stomach issues, and I called this young girl back up to where we were and told her to pray for her, and God just it was amazing. This young girl, all I told her, I said, listen, you're not doing anything special. You're just going to be God's instrument, and you're going to just pray healing. That's all you're going to need to do. And she just closed her eyes, put her hands on the woman, and just prayed over her, and the woman was slain in the spirit, and healing happened, and it was amazing. It was something amazing to see the Holy Spirit just take over this girl and use her in such a mighty way. The one of the highlights for me, I got to pray with the girl who was leading worship and encourage her. I thought that was just a fantastic time of prayer and ministry. Many people were wanting to minister and be the missionary, the word I used, to their family. And that was outstanding. So we prayed over a lot to commission them as their missionary to their family and to their homes, where they were believers but their family was not. Then I had this young man who came forward and had some anger issues and had some things, and he was a teenager, and he was having problems with his parents and arguing and fighting with his parents, and prayed over him that he needed to humble himself, and that he needed to ask forgiveness from his parents, and that he needed to humble himself before the Lord. And after we finished praying, he told me his leg, his knee, left knee was hurting, that he'd hurt it, and it was really a problem, and I could feel it, and it was swollen and everything. And so we prayed over it, and he said, "Oh yeah, much better." And I said, "Is it better?" Because to me, it didn't seem like it was better. And he's like, oh, yeah, no, and I said, no, 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 no. And I told him, I said, I'm the American, and I'm going home on a plane. So don't just say this to make me feel good, because I'll be on a plane in a couple days back home. And so this healing is not for me. This is for you. And so if you want to be healed, we need to pray again. And he said yes. So I prayed over his leg, and it was one of those within seconds, instantaneously healing in his knee. And he broke. I prayed that it would be a testimony to him, that the power of God working in his life. And he broke. He just started bawling, and he stood in the corner for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just crying because of the power of the Lord on him. That was one of the highlights, definitely, for me. This has been an amazing trip. We're packing up. We have a meeting this morning with some pastors, I think. And we're going to encourage them and eat some breakfast. And then we are on our way back to Quito, which it's kind of interesting. It's about 80 degrees here, 85 degrees here. This morning it's really nice. It's probably about 70 this morning. But the high in Quito today is only going to be 61 or 62. So a little bit difference. Interesting being on the equator during the summertime for us in Florida. And it's 60 degrees on the equator. So that's just mind-boggling, but we're going to have a great time. I'll be taking lots of photos and pictures of Quito, but I just want to give a quick little update. What an amazing time here in Santo Domingo. So many memories, from being able to baptize in the river, to preaching a message, having the gentleman that who was just in prison a week ago. He was in the service as I preached a message on being restored and having a ministry put in his heart, and oh my gosh, just so many amazing things. God has been very good. God has been powerful, and it's been such a privilege and a pleasure to be used. I do want to say that I in my heart, it was this trip. I felt that truly I was blessed to be a part of Matthew 28, and of going and preaching the gospel into all the world, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and discipling and teaching, and then sending them out to do the same. I just cannot believe that God is using me in this way, and it's just an amazing thing. And it's just it's awesome. So I know this video went a little bit longer than I normally do, so we'll go ahead and stop. But Jesus be praised, God be praised, in His name and in His name only. We do these things. I hope tomorrow they don't even remember who I am, that all they remember is Jesus. All right, everyone. Love you guys. Bye-bye.